All right, this is Dragon with Metal Nexus. I'm with Chad Nicefield of Wilson from Detroit, and I want to ask you basically how was Wilson formed? How did the band come together and basically get started when you first kicked off?
The band, Jason, our lead guitar player, he's the only original member of the band from when the band started. I came in shortly thereafter. They had another vocalist, and it was a way for, like, when they were going to college in East Lansing, Michigan, Michigan State, it was like fucking to get free beer, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we'd all known each other from playing in bands. Jason used to be in a band called For the Fallen Dreams that toured a lot. I was in a band called Airs that toured a lot, and we all kind of knew each other through the grapevine. And when I went, I was like, you know what, I really want to fucking sing in like a heavy band again. So I ended up joining the band, and then thusly got Jason to move from where I live in Detroit, from East Lansing to Detroit, and the members that were just kind of hanging out or whatever, they weren't really like, they didn't really want to take it super seriously. They kind of decided to like bow out, and we got members who were ready to take it seriously, and that's the five of us have been together just about 4 years now. But James and I played in another band, pop band called Manic.
Really?
Yeah, like kind of Beatlesy. He played bass, I played guitar. Something weird and different that we were experimenting with, and Pooey was in a metal band that everybody knew from back in the day, and Kyle was in another metal band. So we all knew each other, and just kind of, when we started shuffling in new players, we were grabbing the right ones.
Yeah, that's a common thread, as we all know, in music.
Oh,
Man.
yeah.
Everybody sort of circulates and recirculates everybody through at one time or another.
For sure, yeah. It's about finding the right group of guys and the right chemistry. So we happened to nail it, I think.
That's what I was going to kick off and ask you. Have you always been a vocalist? You said you played guitar a little?
I started playing guitar in bands. I was always a guitar player until I was 18, and I started singing. 19, started singing in a band. Well, I kind of backup sang in a band.
Okay, yeah.
Started singing in a band, heavy band, when I was 18, I think, and then I did that for a while, and I sang in another band, and I went back and started playing guitar. So I've been back and forth. This is I play guitar and sang in a band, sang in another band, play guitar and sing in a band, and just sang in a band. So this is the fourth time I've been a vocal. I've been the vocalist, whether I was with a guitar or without a guitar.
Yeah. Now, have you ever actually played in guitar with Wilson? No, just basically vocals?
No, I used to play Talkbox live.
Okay,
I play a little solo thing, mostly to get my own jollies off. I don't think anybody gives a fuck about it, but I don't do that anymore. I don't play live with them now. I'll write riffs and stuff like that with everybody else. But,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone knows Detroit's famous, Detroit Rock City, and there's a wide history of various bands, genre, styles in Detroit. What does Wilson bring to the whole concept of Detroit Rock City? What is your all's contribution to it?
The one thing that we've noticed over and over and over again is the lack of, and we take this seriously, but at the end of the day, this is still entertainment, and if we're being a rock band in general, the plateau or the platform has kind of sunken a lot farther than it used to be, because it used to be like pedal. I grew up going to hall shows, so I go to like VFW halls and shit like that, and it would be like kids all from all over the area. They didn't even fucking know who was playing. They were just there to see live music, rock and roll music.
The scene.
Yeah, the scene, exactly. Yeah. And that sort of thing has went away a lot, especially with the introduction of like EDM, like electronic dance music. I don't like the music, and I don't particularly care for the fact that there's just a bunch of fucking fucked up kids or whatever. But essentially, that's what I was, and that's what all the people during the heavy metal parking lot years were. Everybody's drunk, fucking tripping ass, smoking weed in the parking lot, hanging out with their buddies, making their best friends. So I get the camaraderie that's created. So I think when I think about Detroit and Wilson and our band is, I hope that what we are able to achieve and bring a name back, or put our name in the melting, because it's a huge cultural melting pot, is these guys went out, worked their fucking asses off like a Detroiter does, but came back, and when it was 5 o'clock, the typical 5 o'clock, they knew how to have a good time. They knew that at the end of the day that this is about life, and this is about bringing people together, and having your brothers and sisters of rock and roll sweating in a room, and somehow be able to tie those gaps that have fallen off because of rock stardom, because it became more about look at me on stage, not about look at these people. This is about something bigger than you ever be. Yeah. So if we can do anything, that'd be huge. Other than that, making sure that the people, that we are products of, are proud to call us products of them. You know?
Yeah, definitely. And I agree. It's all about the shared common experience, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely understand that.
I'm not trying to be a hippie about it, but I feel very strongly about the idealism of rock stardom and bullshit like that. I mean, you know, who needs to be praised is teachers and firefighters and policemen and people of service who are like actually shaping our fucking world, protecting us, and building the young minds that are going to create our future. So if anybody's looking at somebody that should be on stage clapping,
On a pedestal, so to speak. Yeah.
It's those motherfuckers, so not us.
Fully understand that. Wilson releases amazing videos. That's my opinion, definitely. I'm sure everyone else shares it, including like College Gangbang. If you ever leave me, I will find you, one of my favorites. I love the new one, Right to Rise, of course, obviously. As far as the videos go, how much input or artistic vision does the band
I produce
contribute to the videos?
all the videos.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So everything that we've done visually, I've produced. I have two dudes that help me with, like, I have like I guess you could call him like a director, and then I have a camera guy who's also. But we all act as the same people, you know. So my friend Nick Ferguson and Ray Rivard, and myself, all create those things, and usually starts with like this idea that I have, then I bring it to them, and I bring it to the guys, then make sure the guys are all into the idea, and then they typically know from that point forward that, you know, it's going to be balls. I'm going to balls if the rest of the band agrees that it's a good idea, then I'm going to go balls out on
Roll
it.
with it, yeah.
And so every piece of visual stimulation that you've seen has been, you know, there's been all of our hands in talking about the product, but as far as producing it all and stuff, it's usually the three of us, my friend Nick, Ray, and I.
So you learn something new every day. I had no idea that you were involved in that level, as far as that goes.
Structure in the last building that we played in or whatever, me and Ray built that.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome, man.
I spent almost every single day that we were home in between two tours shooting all of that footage.
Well, I'm a real video fan anyway, and I really like your all's videos.
Right on. You know, and if you ever leave me, I will find you. I don't know if you're a fan of Dillinger's Escape Plan.
Oh, yeah.
So the cop is my friend Jeff Duddle, who was the guitar player for Dillinger for a long time.
I didn't know that.
And his wife is well, he's also really into. Well, I decided to do the video with him and having him in it and helping me with the video because we share over a common bond of shitty horror films. Yeah. So I was like, dude, I want to do a Maniac Cop kind of a remake thing a little bit, you know, like, but in this other twisted way. And he's like, fuck yes. I'm like, will you fucking be Maniac Cop? Because I'm like, you look like a maniac.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So Jeff stepped into the role and helped out there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a killer video, man.
Thanks, man.
Like I said, I like them all pretty well. Of course, I've been championing Wilson for several years, like I've said. And how long has it?
Thank you, by the way.
No problem, my pleasure, man. How's it been going from my words here, brash upstarts, so to speak, to touring with the likes of like Jason Newsted, Mark Tremonti, of course the amazing Drunk as Shit tour, like I mentioned previously. That's as good as three bands as you can get that was on that. How's it been going from your starting roots and onto such stages and sharing stages like that?
You know, it just goes back to the fact that the band was started to get free booze while somebody was going to college. So when you think about it in that limelight, you're just like, what the fuck? You know, we went on 3 cruises in 1 year. Like, we went on a fucking motorboat. We went on motorboat with Motorhead and Anthrax and fucking Testament and, you know, fucking Down and all this shit. Awesome. And then, you know, we're out on a boat with, like, bands like Papa Roach and Five Finger Death Punch and all that sort of shit, too. And then we're out on another, but, like, it's just like, this is crazy. I can't believe that these people are not only we're in the same, like, area as them, but we become friends and peers. And, like, I get phone calls from, like, people who are like, well, I consider like some of my most incredible inspirations to be like, hey man, just seeing if you're doing all right. I'm like, shut the fuck.
It's hard not to fanboy out, man. I mean, like, my God, I mean, just some of the people you mentioned, the likes of them, it just blows your mind.
Oh yeah,
you develop friendships with them, you know.
And just to realize that, you know, and the humbling fact that like what I was talking about is like, this is just pure fun, you know, like not just us. Sure, it's fun for us, but it's the whole thing is supposed to be about an outlet that lets you creatively expose yourself to a whole nother set of life that your home and the 4 walls that you surround yourself in as a room doesn't allow you to experience. So, I mean, to be able to do what we've done from, like you said, brash upstarts to what we've, you know, like, Yeah, I don't think where I come from it would have been possible.
Hard to imagine, I'm sure.
Yeah. When we went to Europe, I'm like, I can't even believe that I stepped foot in a plane and went to went to Europe, and B, like playing music, like that's the fucking craziest thing in the world. If you had told 15-year-old broke ass fucking below middle class family Chad Nicefield that his shared bedroom with his sister is gonna get him into fucking Europe by picking up a guitar one day, and like fuck you,
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's like true dreams come true, man.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. Definitely, man. Yeah. Definitely. I've seen you all claim to be not an internet band.
Yeah.
Just what is the band's approach to your all's philosophy of doing things, and basically tell me, how does a Wilson song come together?
Okay. Yeah, I like that. We decided early on that we were going to take the low road. We were going to do it the way that we know that we've been really proud to do things. And when we write songs, we do it in a way. We use technology to our advantage. Like Jason will demo something out at his home and bring it to practice, and we'll listen to it, and then we'll hash it out together as a band.
Gotcha.
And then that idea will spawn into something else because we stuck together, the five of us in a room. That record, Right to Rise, we just put out we wrote it up in some of it up in a cabin up north over a course of 2 weeks. We wrote some of it in a house in Atlanta that we rented out over the course of a month, and we recorded it in Atlanta with all live. We didn't do it in one. I wish we would have been able to afford to do it in one live room, but we pride ourselves in the fact in a digital world that we're still able to use our tools to our advantage, but we don't manipulate anything. It's all. That's the sound that comes out of the reason why you'll hear maybe a record when this is something I don't know if you know, but you like even Mothership, where you listen to like a record and it kind of sounds like it's not as or you listen like I'll use Papa Roach as an example. I don't have anything bad to say about them. I think they're a great band, and I'm a huge fan of what they do. And I think Jacoby's fucking once you meet those dudes, it's just like this all makes sense. But you can tell when you listen to that they've used technology to their advantage, and I think it's great. The guitars, when you put it on a record, you're like, holy shit, it's like kicking you in the fucking face.
Oh, yeah.
But then you listen to something like The Sword, and you hear like this kind of, why does it sound so like far back into my dash or something? It's because there's life that exists in between a microphone cone and a speaker, and that little bit of life that exists here is your ethereal being. It's the sound that you've created with your fingertips, and it's letting itself into the air, and is like just speaking into a microphone. The nuances of my voice and the surroundings and the environment that it's being created into has created its own sound.
Gotcha.
Now, when you digitally are plugging in a cord straight to the input of a interface on a computer, your technology is traveling through one line and into something that's created the most purest form of it, I suppose, but it can be manipulated any way you want, which I think is really cool. But we decided earlier on that we were going to take the life route, and that it might be the hardest to kind of buy into, because it's the hardest to sell nowadays, But that little bit of life allows us to, see in between it all. That makes
Definitely.
sense.
I know what you're saying. I mean, it's a strategic. I mean, it's a thought out a process, obviously, with you all. But we can all tell there's certain things that definitely, I don't know if polished is the right term or not, but definitely there's different things that are enhanced in different ways, technologically wise.
That's what I said. We'll use it to our advantage, but it starts at the very beginnings of creating sound, and then from there, you'll use little toys and tricks to manipulate that sound a little bit, but we try to keep it as real as possible. There's no auto-tune in my voice or that sort of stuff. The drums aren't like triggered or anything like that.
Gotcha.
But I guess if I were to say anything, I mean, our whole identity is just is that life that exists between the cone and the top, the sound that's being produced and the sound and the instrument that's absorbing the sound. That's our life right there.
So much depth to such a small distance.
I know, right?
Yeah, really,
right? It's great.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Well, that
Sorry, I got a little far out on that.
Yeah, sort of springs board just to the last one here, but there's a definite evolution, progression in the Wilson albums. I think you can tell. I mean, which should be style-wise. But where do you all see the band going forward from this latest album, Right to Rise? And is there anything left? Basically, I'm sure there is, that you want to accomplish or to do that you haven't done yet.
Oh yeah. My friends and family will punish me a lot because they know that I punish myself. I never think about. I never take a moment. One of our managers said this the other day. It's like, you never take a fucking moment to like just sit there and absorb the thing that just happened to you, because you're always consistently thinking about tomorrow. Like, what can I do tomorrow that's gonna, like, okay, cool, I got that off my plate. Almost like that, like, sweet, that worked. Okay, now next thing, how do I make this other thing that doesn't work? And so I think that's probably the direction that I see the band going in, is opening up other doors, because it was a little bit hard to open up some of the doors that we did on this record. When you take the songs like The Flood and you like have to pull back the idea of like intense guitars and create the song that still has all of your characteristics of a band in it. And I think that's interesting. I think it's fun. And I think that there's like, we have different ways. After writing this last record, we have a different idea of how to write, because before it was just like, here's our song, it's recorded, boom, fucking done. Now this one, like, here's a riff, here's a melody. How can we make both that riff and melody work together, and how can we make both that riff and the melody better? And that's the process I think it will go in the future, but just adding more fun stuff to it.
It becomes, the catalysts increase as far as.
Yeah.
I mean, one's early days, everyone's sort of raw, and let's just hammer this out and get it done. But, that's the evolution is, the sound, definitely. Yeah. And I can see it with your all's albums, or hear it.
I think we cleaned up a little, we cut out a little fat from, with Full Blast Fuckery, we loved the record. And like I said, we didn't think twice about anything we were doing. And this record, we thought 15 times about a lot of things we're doing. And the next record, maybe we'll only think about 10 things, because we've been able to figure out what the other 5 things we don't need to think about are. And maybe that could essentially open up other ways of thinking after that. So cool.
Definitely. All right, Chad, I appreciate it. Chad,
thank you.
Get out and see Wilson as soon as you can, everyone.